Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy. And in today's video, I'm going to show you a masking technique. Now, I saw Stampin' Up! Do this technique not too long on a training video. Masking has been around for a long time, but now in our catalog, we have this masking paper that makes masking a lot easier. They come in these sheets. Let me see, 5x7 sheets. And there's how many in here? 12 in here. So you get a ton of these sheets of masking paper, and I'm going to show you how to use them in today's video. So this is the practice card, I'll call it, that I did for today's video. And it's okay, but nah, we're going to change it up just a little bit. I'm going to set it here just so we have a point of reference. But the first thing I want to do with my masking paper, I'll show you, I guess, the stamp set later because now I've already moved on to the masking paper, is I'm going to use this die set here. Now this die set is called the seasonal labels dies, and what I like about them is, of course, all these labels here. So I'm going to take this size, I guess it's about the medium of those. This also has a coordinating stamp set, and shoot, I should have it here, but I don't. And the reason that I thought of these dies is because my first masking card, is what we'll call it, looked like this. And this is one of the, well, these are the two stamp sets that coordinate with those dies. And look how pretty that card is. I think this card's going to be one of my in-person classes for my Christmas in July card class. But anyway, this has a lot of stamping. I'm going to simple it down to like this, and we're just going to use this Shaded Summer stamp set, which has a coordinating die called Summer Shadows dies that cuts out a bunch of the images of the stamp set, and then has some independent stamp set or dies. You can find that in the annual catalog or on my online store. So let's keep going and focus, Kathy. Put all that away. We're going to use this die and some of the masking paper. Let me go ahead and cut the masking paper down so to fit through my mini boss or cut and emboss machine. And let's see, this looks like it's about 2 inches, so I'm going to cut it at about 2 1/4. That gives me some room so I don't lose some edges, I guess we'll call it. And there's a seam. I hope you can see it down the middle of the masking paper, and I made sure I cut it so when I put my die on there, it'd be easy to remove that backing because I cut through the seam. Just a little tip there. Okay, let's bring in our machine and our plates. I got my plate number 1, my masking paper, I forgot to put a cutting plate down. There you go. Now my masking paper and my die, and then my second cutting pad. Turn this around so the handle's on the right side. And there we go. And just cut that right there. There we go. And now I have my masking paper the shape that I want it. Put all this other stuff away. Okay, so today's measurements are very simple. I'm going to use basic black card base, which is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And normally I would tell you just go to my blog to see the measurements, but my blog is having all kinds of issues right now. I'm trying to get it back up and going, but soon, hopefully soon, all my measurements will be on my blog. Like I said, as of right now, it's down. And then I have 2 pieces here of basic white that are 5 1/4 by 4. Now one is going to be the inside, and the other is what we're going to stamp on right now. And since I'm going to make a mess, I'm going to bring in a big old sheet of scratch paper here. I'm going to take my backs off of my masking paper, and I'm going to center my masking paper right here directly on to my basic white cardstock. And you know what? To me, it looks like I have it a little bit high here and a little bit low here. So I'm going to just turn it over, and now my focal point's a little bit above center. And maybe I should have used my grid paper, but nah, I think it's good enough. I'm not gonna worry about it. And then this time I'm gonna bring in some Blushing Bright ink and a blender brush. And I'm gonna just pick up that ink, and now I have to turn it sideways. That's just how I roll. I'm gonna tap off on that masking paper and get some of those harsher colors or those darker pinks off where I'm not gonna see it on my card. See, and I think I'm still getting a little heavy on the, maybe not. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to just kind of go around the edge of that masking paper a few times just to give my paper some color here. And I don't know if you noticed, but I like to do my blending brushes. I like to do a circle on my ink pad to pink it up, or pick up the ink, pink it up. That was funny, not funny. Okay, and then I like to go in a circle on my card. And I've started at the center and kind of worked my way out to make it just a little darker around the edges of my masking paper. And then I'll go get those edges. Let's turn it around so that I can kind of get it even. Whoop. There we go. And I think that's going to be good right there. Now, it doesn't look like a lot of color on there, but I have a feeling, and my fingers are crossed, that when we take that paper off, you're going to see tons of color. So then with these, this piece of the stamp set, I'm going to take this, I'm going to call it flowers with some sprigs, and I'm going to just take, and this sprig right here, I'm going to point toward the corner. Oh, I want to stamp it off. There we go. Almost forgot. And then stamp that really light. And I'm going to do everything, I'm going to do all four corners, sorry I can't do two things at once, in the same manner. And look how pretty that is. Now to fill in these little blank spaces, I'm going to just take this little sprig and do the same thing, stamp off. Put a little around the edges. Move that one so I don't get ink all over my hand. Where was I? Right here. There we go. So I think that now looks really pretty, really soft. Let's see what happens now when we take that masking paper off. And I'm going to be gentle because now that the masking paper is saturated with all that ink, it's pretty delicate. But look how pretty now. Whoop. I think that's where that seam was. There we go. But looky there. Look how pretty. And I do like the pink so much more than the purple. I'm not sure why, because purple's a really pretty color. But I think it was, well, I don't know. But there you go. Maybe it's just the practice after doing it a couple times. Then with a little bit of black memento, I'm going to bring in those words. And this says, some friendships are just meant to be. And I'm going to ink that up. I'm going to practice once. Okay, it looked pretty good. I should have just went on my paper. And then I'm going to stamp this over here in the corner, just like I did on my sample card. Try to get it straight. And I'm really looking at the bottom of the words. Try to see, hold that down, let that ink sink in. Oh no, look how pretty that turned out. And then with this bigger flower here, I'm going to ink that up. Really good with that black memento ink. And then stamp that down just over here at the edge. I think I like it better this angle. Let that ink sink in. And look how pretty. Now while I have my stamps out here for the inside, I think I'm going to take this corner stamp. I'm not even going to bother to clean it because the pink ink isn't as dark as the black. But I'm going to put this on the inside of my card, just right here in the corner. Like that. And now bring in that card base. Let me cover up my black memento ink and get rid of this thing. Fold on that score line. I'm going to use my bone folder to get a nice crisp edge here. And then we just need to adhere the front. Just a little bit of glue. Lay that down right there. And then the inside. There. And there we go. And then just like on my little card here, I'm going to bring in some of those little brass butterflies. I might take a pick tool here, see if I can, no, this one has a well, we'll see what happens. This one has a terrible tip. Oh, it's working though. And I'm going to just scatter those little butterflies again on my card. Whoop. Come on, butterfly. There we go. And look how cute that is. So simple. Now, you talk about easy to mail. It's nice and flat. It doesn't have a lot of depth to it, I guess you'd say. But there you go. So there's my masking technique. I hope you'll give that masking paper a try. Like I said, you can find it at my online store, and the link will be below. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye-bye.